Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable. I am so excited today to greet the unconquerable Simon Clark, and soon you'll learn why he is truly unconquerable. On his website, I've picked out one small phrase which really did it for me. I should have died that day, but I was given a second chance, and I'm spending it helping others get theirs. Now, Simon and I are all about resilience and positivity, but with very different background stories. So, Simon, welcome, and I'm so pleased you're here.
Thanks, Susie. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'm really excited to discuss this with you.
Yes, yeah. Well, it is one hell of a story. We all have stories to one degree or other powerful, but I think yours is truly powerful because of the way you have risen, literally from a hospital bed, after paramedics, after the car crash, said that you were the most broken man they'd ever seen. So, would you mind taking us back to that day, and telling us what happened? And then your journey since then. And oh my God, the journeys you have done to the most incredible places so far, because why, partly to help others, but why are you doing this? Who saved your life?
So basically, my this journey for me started on the 17th of October 2019. I was involved in a fatal car accident. I lost my partner of 22 years. Sadly, she was driving and I was in the passenger seat. Um, Not quite sure what happened, but she lost control and was involved in a head-on collision. I woke up from a coma in hospital 2.5 months later to be told that I was paralyzed from the neck down. I would spend the rest of my life on life support. I'd be fed through a tube. I was on a ventilator, and it was just an absolutely terrifying and horrific prognosis.
Mm,
Um,
mm. You
if
couldn't speak either, could you?
No, I couldn't speak at all. I had to learn how to blink just so I could communicate, and I spent a long time blinking out letters to spell words just to communicate and try and understand what was going on.
So does the body sort of, some of it shut down due to the shock and the trauma so that you are able to do what's necessary right then and there, learn to blink? Or because you were fully compos mentis when you were woken up from the coma, did you lie there, with all sorts of anger or frustration or why me? That's probably not you, the why me, but oh, just a longing to get to rise up.
So that's actually quite a complicated question to answer, but in a nutshell, yes, it does shut down like that. But in my case, I had actually shattered the top three cervical vertebrae, so my head had been completely taken off of my shoulders, and I'd suffered extensive brain and nerve damage, and this
Right.
is why my prognosis was so bad. Now, one of the things the doctors couldn't understand was that I was fully consciously aware of what was going on, so I could
Mm.
hear people talking above me. Um, and as far as I was concerned, I was able to make logical choices and decisions. My brain seemed to be working perfectly despite the injuries that it had suffered. So,
That's extraordinary because you told me a couple of weeks ago that you still have 30% of your brain which isn't working. And clearly, since we use only 5% of our brain anyway, it's probably 30% within that 95% because you don't seem to be lacking in anything brain-wise, I have to say. But does it hurt? That's a stupid question, maybe, but no, actually, there are no stupid questions, Susie. Does it hurt? Do you get brain ache?
Yes, all the time actually. I actually suffer with chronic pain constantly throughout my body. But I have a really bad headache. I wouldn't say it was a migraine, but it's that sort of level of intensity pretty much 24 hours a day.
So
Um, if I have to do anything that requires a lot of brain power, then I get very, very tired really quickly. And it's just the mental activity of trying to live with that level of pain all of the time.
do you take anything for it?
I was on a lot of incredibly strong pain medication to begin with, but as soon as I was consciously able, I started to refuse it because um, I believe very strongly in the power of the mind, and I felt, whether it was right or wrong, that I would rather learn to control the pain myself rather than relying on the crutch of medication. Now, that's not to say medication doesn't have its place, and I would never advocate anybody doing what I did, but
Mm,
that was just a decision that I felt was important for me.
yeah. Well, the courage is extraordinary because it wasn't just from the neck up. 25 breaks in your pelvis. I mean, that's not a, it's quite a big bone. That's
So if you'd like,
parts of your
I
body.
can, if you'd like, I can actually list the most of the
Well,
injuries, but
actually, yeah, because with the paramedic lowered down from the air ambulance, um, which saved your life, he said you were the most broken man he'd ever seen. And I mean, that's quite a thing to have described you. That's quite a Guinness Book of Records thing, isn't it?
um,
But you
well,
know,
just to clarify that a little bit, he said I was the most broken patient he'd ever seen to survive. He has seen far worse injuries, but
oh,
people don't come back from those.
okay. Well, yeah, yeah.
So basically, I had shattered the top three vertebrae of my spine. I'd completely shattered the bottom of my spine. As you say, my pelvis was in 25 separate places. I'd broken all of the ribs on the left-hand side, most of the ribs on the right, shattered my sternum. Um, my hips were both broken. I punctured my lungs, tore my diaphragm to pieces. I had a 2.5 inch tear in the aorta, which is the main artery coming out of the heart. So technically, I was bleeding to death as well. I ruptured all of my internal organs. My intestines and stomach ended up wedged underneath my collarbone. Uh,
Oh, good grief. But
Um,
what about your legs? Because you use those to fabulous advantage with your fundraising.
So my legs are actually amazingly completely fine. I had a lot of problem with blood clots later on, and at one point they were going to amputate one of my legs, but luckily that clot managed to dislodge,
Yeah.
and so I got to keep the leg. But yes, most of my fundraising now is based around walking challenges,
Yes. Yes.
simply because I was told I would never leave a hospital bed. So
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
I was lying there, I came up with some goals that were related to not proving the medical people wrong, but proving to myself that I could achieve what I wanted to.
See, and that's it. That's where we have what's my passion as well, resilience and positivity. It's like, I am not going to settle for this, but your journey has been extraordinary. So once you had that thought, I'm not going to lie in this bed forever, how did you then set to and go about that recovery?
So I believe incredibly in the power of the mind. I strongly, passionately believe that once you make a decision and set your mind to it, there's nothing that can stop you. You will always find a way. And a good example of that was as soon as I was told I would never walk again, I basically communicated via blinking that I would walk out of hospital within 6 months of the accident.
Mm,
I managed to do it with a couple of weeks to spare.
incredible.
The other major goal I set at that time was I would be standing in Everest Base Camp within 5 years of the accident, and I managed to do that with a week to spare. And it's just building up from there. And
Building, yeah.
it's for me.
So in hospital, you obviously underwent a lot of physiotherapy with those walking bars and what was it like that very first time you got out of bed and stood up?
Well, that actually took over a month to do that because every time the physios would try and get me to sit up, I would pass out and be unconscious for a couple of days.
Oh, for
Uh,
days.
oh, days,
Oh,
absolutely. Um, so eventually they were able to prop me up in a vertical position and I was able to stay conscious. And then we would work on staying upright for a little bit longer, letting my body get used to the changes in blood pressure and things like that. And then eventually I was able to start trying to take steps, and they were literally, well, to begin with, it was just moving my foot around. So I would be held vertically and somebody would move my foot for me while I was thinking about moving that foot, so we could train the new neural pathways and help the
Right.
body learn how to move again.
Yeah, because I would say usually or most often when a spine is broken, the walking element just can't be there because of the, as you say, that the neurological pathways. But was that luck that they was came back to working and functioning, or was again that because you basically told them to?
I will say there was an incredible amount of luck. There was phenomenal amount of skill on behalf of the medical professionals that sort of glued me back together.
Mm.
But I was incredibly lucky that I didn't actually sever my spinal cord. Um,
Right.
Basically, the vertebrae, rather than snapping, which usually results in tearing or cutting of the spinal cord, in my
Yeah.
case, they basically disintegrated. So,
Right.
although they were completely gone, the nerves managed to stay intact.
And I guess, yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? Because they can pin you with the bone bit, but if the spinal, if nerves are, wow. Did the airbag go off?
Oh, everything went off. Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of car was it? A little car?
So it was a Subaru estate car. A fairly solid, fairly reliable
Solid
car.
car.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it was just sheer bad luck, the
Yeah.
nature of the accident, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So this is gobsmacking actually. You are finally getting up out of bed. Uh Next step, pardon the pun.
So basically, that transition period was incredibly painful and a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
I was very, very fortunate to have an amazing team of physiotherapists who, although I frustrated them with my, shall we say, lack of acceptance in reality,
Mm.
because I mean, that became a big problem actually, because they would say all the things that I would never do, and then I would tell them all the things I was going to do. Now, yes, we say that's a great thing, but that can actually be really, really dangerous because it's setting you up for false hope. And
Okay.
because
Mm.
I'd suffered some very severe brain injuries, that usually is a warning for other
Yeah.
psychological problems further down the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to go undergo a lot of therapy to try and get me to accept my new life and my new reality.
Yes. Does
Um,
it did you have a personality change? Because I've seen
yeah.
that happen. Okay.
Again, yes, that's very common and very consistent with the injuries that I had, but as
Mm.
far as I'm aware, no, I haven't.
No,
Um,
you're a really nice guy, actually. So, and I'm looking forward to the work that we're going to be doing together, which we'll come to a little bit later on this podcast. So, you had already set that first goal about Everest when you were still in hospital and still lying in that bed. Um, when you left hospital, my God, that must have been a moment.
that was an incredibly profound moment because I'd actually, going back to the acceptance thing, I was fully conscious and fully aware of the severity of my injuries. The difference for me was I couldn't allow anything contrary to my vision to enter my mind. So
Mm.
although I could accept the reality, I would not allow any form of negative thought. So when somebody would say, "You'll never walk again," in my head, it was, "I can't walk at this moment. I will walk in as soon as I'm able."
Yeah.
And one of the things that I had unconsciously decided in my head was that I would never be able to smell fresh air again. So being able to stand outside a hospital and actually take a
Oh, absolutely.
feel
And
the
these
wind.
are things that we take for granted, Simon. You're such an inspiration and a lesson for us all that actually sometimes it can be really incredibly bad. But with you are mental toughness personified, and the um, mental toughness is resilience plus positivity, which
Absolutely.
actually then equals self-efficacy. And you're so efficacious, it's amazing. And I kind of smile and joke, not joke about it, but you're also very positive in your nature. You smile, you've got genuine warmth rather than, and I
Thank you.
suppose because you must be proud of yourself, are you?
Um,
Please be proud of yourself.
um, I'm not sure I can say I'm proud of myself because I haven't achieved everything yet. It's still an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly grateful to the people that have helped me along the
Mm,
way.
mm.
Um, yes, I can say I'm proud of what I've done, but that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable because I've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, yeah, you have. Okay, but let's begin with that first major achievement. I know you have a list and that's on your website. So, uh, what's it all partly for you to have a life, but what's the main element of these massive tasks and adventures that you set for yourself?
So yes, the main sort of focus for them is actually fundraising for the Great Western Air Ambulance charity.
Mm,
They were the team of highly skilled medics who saved me initially on the side of the road.
mm,
Um, a lot of people aren't aware that the various air ambulance units around the country are not supported in any way by the government or any sort of lottery funding.
mm,
So they literally have to raise all of the money themselves to then go out and save people's lives. So they were kind enough to give me a second chance at life,
mm.
and I've basically dedicated myself to
Amazing.
raising awareness and trying to raise as much money as I can for them, and also other air ambulance charities around the country.
Right. Oh, okay. Because the Great Western services which counties?
So essentially, it's the M5 corridor. So they're based just outside of Bristol,
Mm.
um, but they basically go all the way down almost to Cornwall, and up to Birmingham, across into Wales, and then sort of east across the country.
Yeah.
Um,
And how many air ambulances in the Great Western team are there?
so there is only one helicopter.
Sorry, helicopter. Yeah,
Uh,
ambulance.
There is only one helicopter for the Great Western Air Ambulance charity, but they have a number of road vehicles as well.
Yeah.
So, depending on the weather, the time of the day, the nature of the injuries, they actually make a decision, is the helicopter the best mode of transport? Because
Yeah.
for them, it's not about landing in a helicopter and looking amazing like rock stars. It's about how do they deliver that level of professionalism
And
as fast
yes, I
as possible.
suppose location as well. So how many call outs do they have in a week?
I would struggle to tell you that at the moment, but I think it was last month they did six major saves a day.
A day.
Yes.
Good grief. So they have a number of teams, do they, who can. Oh, Simon, this is incredible. So, your first fundraising event for this wonderful Great Western Air Ambulance, tell us about that.
The first one I did, gosh, just trying to remember what it was. Most
Was that not Everest Base Camp, or was
oh,
that
so
a
yes, sorry,
big
specific
one?
challenges. Sorry, sorry, yes. The first major one I did was the trek to Everest Base Camp, and yeah, that was 12 days of continuous walking, mostly uphill. It was.
How many kilometers or miles a day?
Um, I can't honestly remember. I was doing on average 10 to 12 hours of walking every day.
Oh,
And if you can imagine it, it's mostly, well, it is almost entirely uphill.
yeah.
So if you can imagine walking upstairs for 10 hours a day, every day, that's basically what I was doing.
And it's not a smooth surface, is it?
It's really not, and it's at high altitude, so you've got lack of oxygen and things like that as well. Um, I was quite lucky with the weather, so wasn't that cold. I think when we got to base camp, it was -20. So we were fairly lucky in that state. There was a horrific monsoon just after I left, so the gods were really smiling on me on that trip.
Yeah. And you slept in tents?
No, it did not actually. Because it's the high Himalayas, you actually sleep in tea huts, which are these really kind of nice communal shelters that are there for
Ah.
walkers and people traveling in the mountains.
And so, did you sleep? Did you manage to sleep?
Not brilliantly, no. I mean, I still struggle with sleep anyway, so that's just a factor for me.
Mm.
Um, but at altitude, there's a thing called sleep apnea, which is an interesting one, and it's basically where your body forgets how to breathe. So you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't breathe, and
Yes, yes.
basically you're suffocating. So, yeah, that's an interesting experience.
Yeah. Gosh. So, um, your journey goes on. I am absolutely thrilled to say that you have a book coming out very soon. Do you have a picture or a copy of a draft book that you can show us? Or,
Not on this screen, unfortunately. I'm not that
okay.
tech savvy, but if you go onto my website, yeah,
It's there.
there's
Okay.
pictures there.
It
Yeah.
is called Unconquerable,
Yes.
which is a very apt title, I have to say. And the book basically covers
So,
the life-changing situation that you found yourself in and going through, and then take us from there, Simon.
so basically, it tells my sort of story, gives you a little bit of an introduction into who I am and where I came from.
Mm,
Then basically going through the accident, my journey through hospital and then recovery, and then
mm,
off onto sort of the future trips and expeditions that I've done. Um,
mm.
but rather than it being sort of biographical, I wanted it to have useful lessons in there to help
Yes,
people as well. So
yes,
my sort of story is a small component of the book. Most of it
yes,
is lessons on mindset, positive
yeah.
thinking,
Mm.
resilience, and
Mm, We are so aligned, and I said before we started recording, when we start doing our speaking engagements together, because it's this element of resilience plus positivity, and I have my online program, Mastering Mental Toughness, and I just love the fact that if we just, however many people we help, if we really help them start living a life, not just coping, not just existing, not just about surviving, but living the best life they can, a first class life on their terms. This is powerful stuff because nothing like a story inspires. And all stories are different, and all stories and all people have stories, but I think when you come to wanting to use your story for the benefit of others, that is great. I can't wait to do our speaking engagements where we will have our books to sign and to sell. And we start on the 6th of May here in Wedmore. There's a lovely event room up above the George pubs, our favourite pub here, and it's going to be great. So Simon and I will be putting details out about that. But before that, Simon, where do people find you and how can they, is the book actually out? Can they pre-order it?
So the easiest place to find me is my website, which is
Mhm,
simonhclark.com. That's
mhm,
no E on Clark.
mhm,
But if you go onto all of the social media platforms and search for Unconquerable You, you'll also find my social media presence.
mhm.
Yes, the book is available for pre-order. It will actually be available in physical copy literally in the next week or so,
Fantastic.
imminently coming out.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Well, it's the beginning for us of this journey to get you. Well, you've been doing it yourself, obviously, with what you've been doing, but I think this is a really positive step towards getting resilience and positivity and mental toughness out there.
Absolutely.
And thank you because it will get me back into presenting and speaking because, I've been out of it for quite some time. And the thought of doing it with somebody as well, next to me, and we'll each have our table for signing books. That's sort of really comforting because I think I read, I'm sure, that some people would rather die than go public speaking. And it's that tribal animal thing, isn't it? Where you raise your head above the parapet you'd probably get savaged and put down. And it's the risk. So it's very limbic brain primordial, isn't it? This feeling of, I don't want to stand out. But actually, we have a passion and a mission.
It's funny you say that because I have a very strong terror of public speaking, and I'm sure you can tell already. And it's something that I've battled with for a very, very long time. And now it's something I have to get over to spread this message
We've got
and
to do
raise as
it.
much awareness as possible. And
Yeah. We've both got to do it,
Yeah.
but there's strength in numbers, and I know each of us have a lot of support, and we'll get this message out there. If I may, I haven't done this for a while, but since I have two copies, these are my books so far. The stories of about 60 incredible women, because we learn so much through stories. So
Absolutely.
I'm so thankful that you've chosen to share your harrowing story, but actually it is one of triumph and unconquerable, incredible, unusual you, Simon. Thank you for being here on this podcast. Strong, grounded, unstoppable. Perfect place for you.
Thank you. It's
And
been amazing.
I'm going to look forward to the next time because we have more to talk about.
Definitely.
But in the meantime, is there anything else you want to say to our audience just before we say goodbye?
I think the most important thing is to just never give up and always stay positive. There's so much negativity in the world at the moment. If you can just
Mm,
hold a positive thought in your head or a positive image, it
mm,
makes all the difference. And just
absolutely.
get out there and just do things.
Yes, yes. Positive thought in your head to hold it.
Mm,
Sometimes that monkey chatter comes in. I
absolutely.
did a 7-week course on positive intelligence, and one of the things Coach Shirzad, he's about mental strength, which is all the same. We're all wanting to put forward the same thing, and one of the ways he taught us to keep that focus was one of the things you can do is rub your finger and thumb together, and so literally you're feeling the ridges, you're feeling that feeling, and just focus on that one thing. And I find that quite useful because it's tactile and it's tangible. And the other thing is just to rub your hands together, which is actually, you can begin that part of havening, which
Absolutely.
is an incredible self-regulating, self-healing thing to do. So maybe those tips will be useful. But absolutely keep focused. And Simon H. Clark, no E.com. Please go on and have a look at some of the incredible pictures, stories. Simon's been interviewed on all the BBC, on all the TV channels. And I just applaud you. And thank you for being here with me on Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Susie.
Sam.
You're absolutely amazing and you're an inspiration to me as well. So
Oh,
it's an
thank
absolute
you.
pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. Bless you.